Hello everyone, how are we this fine Saturday? It's quite warm at the game today. It's chilled down a wee bit, about plus 12 now, Asim. It's been marvellous, mate. We're going to be doing a lot of smiling, everyone. A lot of smiling, not as much talking because my voice is struggling. I just want to clarify, this is water. Maybe, I'm not sure. But my lord, amazing, mate, amazing.
Exhausted, but absolutely buzzing, delighted. Still on such a high, just walking down as we approach the bar here. Just absolutely delighted.
Where are we? Give them a shout out.
Babbity Bowster, as always.
You had to read that off the screen there. You didn't know that off by heart.
I've not been here before, other than for the videos. So there you go.
Great place, great food, great drinks. It is heaving downstairs. You can probably maybe hear the faint noise of people enjoying their Saturday. Very happy after today's game. Does anyone else ever just feel totally done in after these matches? Is it just me? Like, I'm obviously so elated. I feel like I'm repeating myself from us doing the video after the cup final. So happy, but it's almost as if it doesn't quite sink in yet. That match was like a roller coaster. Those games cannot be good for your life expectancy.
No, 100%. My dad said the same to me, dropping me off here. He's like, "Oh, you just seem done in," and it's just a roller coaster of emotions. It was that kind of game as well. Obviously, so many ups and downs, and just that last 10 minutes, you were just delighted when that full time whistle went, and then you can fully start the celebration. So yeah, buzzing now, but during it, you're absolutely done in.
Asim wanted to enjoy his final 10 minutes. I think the Celtic defence didn't fancy that. We fancied making it very nervy for ourselves. In a way, though, it kind of made the full-time whistle more spectacular. It was like the cup final again, because we'll come on to it. We'll leave all the chat about winning the league, etc. Where do you want to start this afternoon?
I guess start with the kind of lineups. It was as we all expected, wasn't it? Moy coming in. Obviously with Rio missing, we were all talking about, would it be Iwata or would it be Moy?
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly, sorry. And the rest of the lineup kind of picked itself. But I was happy with that team. I thought we had more than enough.
Were you in the O'Reilly camp?
Yeah, I was on the O'Reilly camp. I think he was due a big performance, and he's always played quite well in these games, and I thought he was very good again today. So yeah, happy with the lineup. Atmosphere was great pre-match, wasn't it? It was really kind of rocking. You just felt it was going to be a big occasion, and it was some 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think O'Reilly was excellent today. I thought he was really good. His run for the first goal was brilliant. It's exactly what we know Matt O'Reilly can do. I just think some of the chat about Matt O'Reilly recently has been a bit over the top from some people. He's clearly been dealing with stuff off the pitch, Matt O'Reilly, from when you listen to him. I think he alluded to that in a recent interview. He's had stuff going on, and I think sometimes we forget that these guys are human as well. And the way he performed today, I thought, was great. He really had that tenacity back in his game, which was exactly what we kind of needed in midfield, given that Hatate wasn't playing. Team wise, yeah, I think it was kind of what we expected. I'll be honest, I did, after saying all of that, I did maybe think Iwata should have started from my point of view, just because not to do with O'Reilly, to do with O'Reilly and Moy maybe being quite similar and maybe lacking that wee bit of drive at times, and given we were missing Hatate, I just thought maybe Iwata would play, give us a wee bit of bite, and McGregor would play further forward. Obviously Ange thought differently, and listen, it worked out for us, and Iwata came on to play really well. Apart from that, the team kind of picked itself. It was what we expected to see. I thought the Rangers team was interesting because Connor Goldson wasn't there at all, and when I saw that centre-back pairing of John Souttar and Ben Davies, I was licking my lips, and it turned out to be correct to be licking my lips.
Yeah, both of them played a huge part in big errors for us. But in terms of just how the game started, I don't. It was an interesting one because we spoke about it in midweek with Jackie how they might approach it, and I think it wasn't a full-on press, but they were definitely further up the park, I thought, than they were.
There was a couple of times earlier in the game where we kind of misplaced passes and they were onto straight away. Yeah,
our passing wasn't great in that early stage, and I think that kind of encouraged them onto us. But yeah, it was one of those that we just kind of grew into the game as the first half went on. And yeah, I don't think they offered, even though it was an even game at the start, I don't think they offered much threat. I don't think there was anything we were troubled with.
I'd agree with that. I mean, as I say, the issues we were having were self-inflicted. We were, 3 or 4 times Moy gave the ball away. Jota had one where he basically passed the ball through, but we kind of managed to get back. And I felt we started to really get going. I thought Carl Starfelt was doing really well coming out from defence. A lot of really nice balls out. I thought Taylor was kind of cooking as the young, is that what the young ones would say?
I think it is.
He's older than me. I don't know why I'm saying that, but he was
quite a bit older as well.
He started cooking apparently. Greg Taylor. I don't know why he was doing that, but Maida was lively. We scored.
Yeah.
Offside goal. I think most people kind of thought it was offside. How far into celebrating were you?
I called it straight away. I was
right.
Everyone around me was like,
some of us were going nuts.
So I knew straight away it wasn't, and it was quite a quick check as well. It wasn't a prolonged one, was it? So I
think he was clearly a wee bit offside. Great finish though.
It was. Kyogo, brilliant touch and finish. It was a good ball. I can't remember who played the ball.
Johnson or Jota, I think it was Jota.
Yeah, good ball, good finish. Yeah, and at that point you feel like we're coming into the game. In terms of just generally, it was a lot of the joy we were getting was in the wider areas. They obviously had a game plan to stop it, stop Callum dictating as much as usual, so they were clogging up the middle space and almost forcing us to go wide, and they just felt some of our passing from the back. Carter Vickers, unlike him, wasn't as assured as he usually is today.
Starfield almost looked the more Starfield looked the more assured.
I thought he had the better game out of the two. Overall, but yeah, we gradually found a way. We were getting the ball wider. Maida was getting a lot more of the ball than Jota was, I felt, and yeah, the goal itself when it came, brilliant from Matt O'Reilly in the build-up. Again, it came from that left-hand side, wasn't it? And Kyogo, just another brilliantly instinctive turn and finish. Yeah.
Before that, we had the Rangers goal that was chalked offside. Shall we spend? I think that's long enough to chat about that. Really, really clearly a foul, wasn't it? I think it was Morelos and someone else.
On Johnson. Johnson.
Yeah. The goal, as you mentioned, was excellent. It was just like it gets me so excited. See when we're playing. See Starfield sweeps it out to Taylor. Yeah. O'Reilly goes in behind. Maida's lurking about as well. Kyogo's in the middle. See when we're playing like that in a big game. It's just so beautiful to watch. And that goal's brilliant. Kyogo's going away for goal. He could probably, maybe another player tries to lay it off for someone else, but he turns and he puts it in. I think McGregor gets a hand to it, but it's a brilliant goal, brilliant celebration.
Typically a Celtic goal of late, isn't it? Like you said, the build up down that left side and then the cut back. And yeah, as Kyogo's face is back to go, I thought he's going to line it off for someone, but just in the vein of form he's been in, brilliant touch and turn and finish. And yeah, I think at that point we were the better team and we really had them on the ropes, I thought, at 1-0. I thought
Stadium was jumping at that stage.
Yeah, and we had another couple of wee attacks after that, and you just felt they were there for the taking to get that second goal, which I thought would have just killed the game there and then. But yeah, we just didn't manage to get the second. But I just thought at that point of the half we were the better team and we were well on top.
So we're coming up to half time. As I say, I thought the stadium was good. Bizarrely, they were taking ages over throw-ins and set pieces at 1-0 down, which I thought was really strange. And then they get a free kick but virtually a wee bit away from the edge of the box. I think it's O'Reilly commits a foul, gets booked for it. And there was just a feeling inside the stadium that it was going in the back of the net. I just think you couldn't have really placed it better for Tavernier. And listen, he's very good at a number of things, Tavernier, losing being one of them. But free kicks are clearly one thing he is good at. And it's a really good free kick. I mean, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it. It was a good free kick. I saw someone blaming Joe Hart, and I'm like, that's a bit
I'll need to look back, but yeah, it looked like it was one of those perfectly placed, good finish.
Terrible timing
of it, wasn't it? Because I don't think, again, I felt quite comfortable after we scored. Look, we didn't play great in that first half at all. There was a lot of misplaced passes. Moy wasn't having a good game by any stretch, one of the poorest I've seen him, but we were still comfortable at 1-0. I felt, there wasn't a lot, I don't think they had any actual chances in that first half, so the free kick we gave away, I was kind of critical. I said, I don't know if he needed to go to ground.
No, he didn't. It was daft on you.
And especially that we know that their greatest threat is from set pieces, it was just, it kind of flattened the atmosphere going into half time. Like you say, it looked like a good free kick. We'll need to look at it again.
No, we don't. No. We don't. Well, I'm happy never to see that goal in my life.
Well, he was giving it big on the celebrations again.
And that Raskin was running over again.
So I wouldn't mind seeing it back because look at the end result. So it went into half time. Obviously, a disappointing goal to lose at that point. But yeah, we bounced back, didn't we?
I mean, I want to pick up on something you said there about we probably didn't need to commit that foul. That was O'Reilly. Carter Vickers had one as well early on Morelos, which I thought was a harsh booking, but again, did he really need to commit a foul? And was there maybe in that first half, maybe throughout the game, just a wee bit of kind of lack of awareness at times, players rushing into things a wee bit? I mean, I think Ange spoke about it. It's only natural. It's a hyped game. It's an important game.
It was frantic. So I was talking about it with my dad. Like my dad kind of mentioned, it looked like our passing was a bit nervy at times. I don't even know if it was nerves, but just the frantic nature of the game. We were rushing everything.
You miss Hatate as well.
100%.
Yeah,
I think
he calms it down.
He calms it down, and obviously we can say it even more because of how bad a game Moy had. But you just felt because they were stopping Callum doing his usual dictating role, it just meant that our options to pass out from the back were less, and it always had to kind of maybe go wide to Taylor or Johnson. When Reel's there and on form, he can just turn a quick pass into an attack by turning on it and using that bit of class, and it just meant they would have had a lot more to deal with. So we did miss Reel. You can see that. You know, he has probably, along with Callum and CCV, our most important player now. So yeah, I felt our passing just wasn't there in that first half, and it was one of those that it's one of those games where we were rushing everything. There was a lot of misplaced passes, but like I keep saying, at 1-0 I still felt pretty comfortable. I wasn't worried about their threat at that point.
What about 1-1 at half time? How are you feeling? Because it was subdued in the stadium at half time. I thought today there was a funny atmosphere speaking to people at half time. A lot of people saying, I'd almost be happy with a point here, and that it had a feeling about it that we certainly weren't at the races, and they were kind of coming on. I think obviously the fact they'd scored just before half time, I think if it had been flipped the other way and we'd have just scored to equalise, you'd have been feeling differently. I just always felt, and it's easy to say now, second half this Celtic team will up it a bit. We're always going to create chances, and I always just felt genuinely there was a mistake in that central defensive pairing for them, and it proved for both goals. It
was subdued, but again I think that's just the momentum of them scoring with virtually the last kick of the half, and we weren't playing great, so you are hoping that we can't be as bad, and I thought, similar to you, I thought we're not going to be as bad as that. We will get chances, but I felt it's going to be an open game because they're obviously going to go for it as well, and I felt they would bring on the likes of Sakala on the counter, so I think that next goal was going to be crucial. And I think second half, I think first 5-6 minutes they had a couple of chances, corners, set pieces.
Morelos had the big one, didn't he?
Morelos had the chance, and at that point again I'm like, we're really not at it right now.
Good save, actually.
It was a good save, a good chance, good save. So for that 5-6 minutes after the first half I was a bit concerned because it looked like they had the upper hand, but we switched it again. I don't know if it was before the subs or just even if it was after or just before, but I just felt we had that kind of shift again where we then took the onus, and from that point in we were comfortably the better team from about 55-60 minutes onwards.
I mean, that 45 to 55 was nervy. It was we really weren't playing well at that stage. Rangers came out second half, really started well. Saying that, Morelos was really the main chance at the back post, and it's a good opportunity, it's a clear cut chance, but I think it would have had to be a good finish to score. I mean, it was, I think, a half volley, and Hart did make a good save. So at that stage, it was difficult. I kind of felt as if Aaron Moy, who, sorry Aussies, apologies, need to say that, probably his poorest game for Celtic. I don't know if he was fully fit. I don't know if he was just a bit off it. Well, I do know he was a bit off it. But I actually did feel in that second half he was just starting to grow into it a bit. He had a couple of wee, that lovely position we saw for the 2 cup final goals, Aaron Moy breaking into space. He had a couple of them, and then he was brought off. And I mean, I thought Iwata was excellent when he came on. Really, really impressed by that guy. He looks so calm. He gets stuck in. His positioning's really good. Really good under pressure as well. The amount of balls that were coming into his chest, he was controlling it, and then finding a pass, even if it was a kind of side-footed pass or whatever, when the ball was in the air, a volleyed pass.
He's always asking for it, and that's what you want.
Someone else said that.
He's always, and I noticed that from his very first appearance, that he really, really demands that ball in pressure situations, and he's got a good enough touch and turn to deal with it. So I thought he was great when he came on again, and Ange obviously trusts him. He brings him on in really high pressure moments. He brought him on in the final. With about 20 minutes to go again, and today again he was brilliant and just kind of calming that midfield at that point.
He so obviously does trust him because he's had him before. I think he said that on the pre-match press conference. He said, I know what I get with Tommy, as he was called by someone behind me,
and he's already contributed for me more than 3 or 4 of those other players we've had in that position that we've bought in the last Abelgard, Idiguchi, McCarthy. So he's already a key contributor to this side, and I think he'll just get better and better.
Someone was talking about the second goal. Tony, Kyogo's second goal was unreal. Was that just because the world's greatest centre-back in history messed it up? What the hell is Ben Davies thinking?
Yeah, it was
glorious.
It was another great finish as well, though.
Yeah, it was.
That's 5-4 for Kyogo in this fixture now. You know, and considering.
I've got a stat. You got a stat?
Go for it, love a stat.
Right, everyone, you ready for this? Kyogo has now scored more goals against Rangers in 3 matches than any Rangers player has against Celtic since they were promoted in 2016. Unreal. Tavernier, I think's got 4.
Yeah.
Kyogo has 5 now in 3 matches.
And yeah, he's just brilliant, instinctive finishes. He could have had a hat trick today. I think he had another wee chance not long after it. And I don't, was he trying to dink the keeper? I don't know. It looked like he was maybe trying to chip, but brilliant. You can rely on him in this fixture now, and that's something that people were maybe saying before unfairly, that he hadn't scored that big goal.
Remember that? People are starting to doubt him, saying, can he score in this fixture? He got 5 goals now.
5-4, 5-3 in match winning goals. And the one in at Ibrox as well to save us there. So yeah, brilliant. And at that point, the place is absolutely rocking, wasn't it? When that second went in,
I didn't even really celebrate it because. And I know a lot of the folk around me were the same. We almost didn't realise it happened. It was just so bizarre because even when Davies kind of messed about with it, I didn't realise it was such a good chance. And you're right, it's such a good finish because it's instinctive. I don't know if he even looks at the goal. He just knows where the goal is and puts it in. It was glorious. And then we had that chance just after, as you say. I mean, at that stage, I'm thinking, we can go on here. Then for me, the most glorious moment of the afternoon, that third goal is just incredible. It's John Souttar this time. Just want to pay credit to him for that brilliant defending. Just again, that kind of mistake that happens in that kind of atmosphere. Jota runs through. 41-year-old Alan McGregor looked incredibly slow. I think he's due retiring. I hope he's not, by the way, but Jota runs round him. We're all kind of thinking, right, penalty here or whatever, but Jota's just so quick, he runs round him, and then just like Henrik Larsson for that 50th goal in 2001, puts it into the net, and it was amazing what a goal. And he did the celebration as well,
wasn't it? Brilliant. Another iconic one. Yeah, it was as the ball was kind of going through, I was like, surely he's not getting that, because it was the keepers all day long, you felt, and he was going to be favourite for it. But brilliant from Jota, and then such a tight wide angle to get that in as well. It was a brilliant finish. And then McGregor, he kind of just gave up on it. I felt it was like he just knew. And again, at 3-1, you're just bouncing. The place was as raucous as you've heard it in a long time. So at that point, you're thinking it could be more.
Because you're kind of in dreamland, because like we were all, as I say, half time people are kind of worried we weren't playing well. I don't think many people saw us going 3-1 up, and then suddenly you're kind of thinking, right, we're 3-1 up here, and we're going to beat them again and win the league and all that. We're partying, we're doing the huddle, which I know you have reservations about when the game isn't quite sealed, and the game wasn't sealed, because shortly after that, James Tavernier again scoring goals. It's what he does just as well. He does that because he doesn't do much else. Back post, he's on his own, ball's played across, heads it in, and again we're kind of like, wow, it's weird when there's no away fans there and they score. It just goes dead.
It's just sheer silence. I think it was at 78 minutes on the clock when that went in. So because I said to you earlier, you just wanted to just enjoy that last 10 in proper party mode, but of course it was a back post header, and then you've got to just kind of see out for the last 10. So we dealt with it pretty well at that point. I don't think they had anything else clear cut after their goal. And we had a couple more chances. I think there's one that Bernabei was through.
First of all, Tavernier has one just after at the back post, after he scores the second one, and I'm like, wow, that could go 3-3. And then Bernabei, just as well we won.
What was he doing? I don't know what he was doing.
I still don't know if he tried to dink it or if he tried to square it to nobody. Just put your foot through it. It's such a good chance. It was like Mikey Johnson in that cup final those years ago. Yeah,
it was a lovely touch from O that set him through as well.
Did he have one as well, O?
Chance, where he could have maybe gone a bit more direct and got the shot off.
One when he was fouled, I thought, but clearly not.
Yeah, so we had a couple of wee half chances to make it 4-2 again and just make it easy street. But it wasn't to be, and then I think there was a couple of instances at the end with corners and free kicks. We were a wee bit silly with it. There was one where I think it was offside, and we just the free kick in the corner.
I'd love to nod my head, but it's a blur for the last 10 minutes. I really struggle with that.
And then obviously that free kick for them in the last minute. That's where you're panicking again. But thankfully, Borna skies it over.
Yeah, they were always going to kind of come on strong, but I thought we did see out the game relatively well again. Haksabanovic again was really good when he came on. I thought Turnbull, did his bit. Iwata you know, we were relatively solid. I would say later. There was a period when Kyogo was kind of playing in midfield for a bit, and because we had O and Kyogo both on at the same time, and I was kind of going, like, what's going on here? And it did look a bit worrying. But you know, did they have that major chance?
No, I don't think
maybe the Tavernier one, but.
Yeah, it's probably another one of those where we'll probably watch it back and realise it was more comfortable than you feel at the time. It's just obviously so nervous, and but I don't think there was any kind of major. I think they had one where there was Morelos and Kent, and they were just both passing at each other, bucking responsibility.
I remember that actually. That was a big one.
That was Johnson's one and only error the whole game.
Yeah,
and then I think he made up for it though as well. Once the ball went back out wide, he put in a nice kind of challenge
and won a free kick. What about Alistair Johnson? Go for it. Man of the match?
Man of the match by a country mile.
I disagree, but I'll let you do it.
You disagree?
I'll give it to Kyogo,
Kyogo's goals, obviously. But I just thought Johnson
what
was...
wins football matches?
I don't, but for me, that Johnson performance, if you remember Juranovic in the 3-0 game last year, everyone thought, I think that was up there with that in terms of his performance, because we didn't play great as a team, but he was just flawless. Like the amount of challenges he was winning first half, he's got some engine on him. You know, his stamina, his threat going forward, strength. He's got it all, and for me he's fast improving as well week on week. So country mile man of the match for me.
I think if you looked at his birth certificate, it would have something about that derby, because he was honestly born for fixtures like that.
He loves it. You can just tell.
He's just. I mean, that challenge he had in the first half, I think it was in Tillman. Like if he hadn't got the ball there, it was a red card and he was off. But it was so committed. Got the ball. We had one in the second half as well. And there was a run he had in the second half as well, where he just barged someone out the way and ran past him. He's just. Yeah, to be honest,
for me, he's an upgrade on Urano. I know it's early days, but
I think that's a fair. But I think most people see that though. But the thing is, he's 24. I think he's like Juranovic is a good few years older than him. I think Johnson has higher levels to go to, and again, that's what we're going for with this whole buying and selling kind of game plan.
You want to actually improve rather than just replace.
And I think you can say the same about O and Giacomakis. I think and look, I love Giacomakis, but I think O has
more to his game.
Yeah, and he's younger and he more potential. But yeah, Johnson for me was superb. As I say, he's made for these games. He's the nicest guy off the park you could ever meet. You know, you do press conferences with him and he'll chat to you for ages, gives great answers. But see, when that whistle goes to start the game, he turns into a nasty so-and-so. It's like Jekyll and Hyde type thing. He just turns into this guy who all that matters to him is winning the game, and he was excellent. I just honestly think that I'm kind of been flippant with you with the man of the match stuff. I think Johnson, is probably what the majority of people watching this would say. Kyogo though, I mean, just those goals and his overall performance, but specifically those big moments. I mean, he scored 2 today. He had the third one which was chopped off, but that's a brilliant finish as well. He is just for me reaching proper
what's
levels.
He on now? He must be 26.
Must be touching 30. Can't be far off.
And that's incredible numbers. He's he's been injured at points in this season as well, and like you said, it's big goals, big moments. Cup finals, two cup finals he's won for us with his goals, and now he's scoring in these fixtures regularly as well. He's gonna. I think he'll hit 30. You'd be surprised if he doesn't. Yeah. And I can't remember when the last time we had someone do that for a while. It's been a while, so brilliant. He was. I think if Johnson wasn't as good as he was, then Kyogo would be man of the match. But I thought. Alistair Johnson deserves a special mention today.
So if those two are on the podium, who's taking the bronze? Who else? Starfelt was good.
Starfelt was good. I think Maida again was good in terms of just his constant harassing. He just makes it so difficult. McGregor was steady, but obviously again they did try and kind of really keep him out of the game, but I thought he grew in influence, especially the second half.
Such a tidy player.
Yeah, he's just so clever as well. He'll know even if he's not involved as much at certain parts of the game, he knows he'll get that opportunity, and then when he does, he's crucial. Thought Matt O'Reilly had a good game as well. Like we said, collectively that was far from our best, but for me that gives me even more encouragement, because if that's us far from our best and we're winning again, just shows you the mentality that we've got just now. And if they're making excuses and almost pleased with their performance there, then to me that gives us nothing to worry about. Yeah,
I caught a wee bit of Ange's kind of post-match comments, and the gist of it seemed to be, we always find a way, and I think Ange was saying it's hard to kind of evaluate the performance so soon after when you're still got the emotions going, but he said, it's about winning, and we always seem to find a way, and it's, it's a glorious thing. We weren't at our best today. I think that's, a totally fair point, but when we weren't at our best, we still beat them, and for me, Rangers aren't a bad team.
Aye.
I know people might not like me saying that. They're nowhere near the level of us. But compared to what we play in Scotland, they're not a bad team, and you saw that at times today. But this team, Celtic, always stands up and always seems to find a way to win. And we're 12 points clear now. I think we've got 7 matches to go. You're really now counting down. I think we need 10 points more. Yeah, 10 points.
10
I think
points,
before today it was like 16 or something like that. So we've got a couple of games coming up. Kelly away next week. That'll be a challenge, but you now have real breathing room. I mean, you can afford to lose at Ibrox now. You can afford to probably lose another game, and still you've got that real breathing room going into the split. So we
need to drop points in 5 games out of 7.
Yeah.
So we're going to win the league, and it was nice just to do that today. Like you said, we had that one last year where we drew this fixture, the kind of corresponding fixture. Yeah. Today, it was ebbed and flowed, but I think we were still the better team despite not being at our best and far from it. I still think we were the better team. I think we deserved it on that second half. We were missing a couple of players as well. Like you've got Rio Hatate still to come back into that team, whereas I know they were missing Golson, but other than that, that's all they've really got to offer. Mm-hmm. And they're not bad, but I don't think they're near us. There might be chat about the gap, but the gap's clear for all to see. Like Beale's had 3 games now against us, 2 defeats and a draw. He's talked about what he's inherited. Now you can't even use that because the gap's increased. So they're running out of excuses, but you can bet your bottom dollar they'll come out with more chat before the cup semi. And for me that works well for us because we just start talking on the pitch. Yeah,
but the thing about it for me as well is, and everyone says it, but this Celtic team is only going to get stronger. Like we have not reached the high point, and it's not a case of like this is where Celtic are and Rangers can get better, and in future it's going to be difficult. Celtic next season, I expect us to be much stronger. I think we're going to really want to go at the Champions League. I think we're probably going to sign 3-4 players again this summer, real quality with a view to really improving in key positions. So I think you're going to see Celtic getting better and better. They're going to have such a big turnover in the summer as well. So I just foresee more glory for this team. Listen, the games to go the rest of the season are going to be tough against Rangers. The Cup semi, it's going to be similar. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be incredibly nerve-wracking. The game at Ibrox, maybe less so, given that the league will be over at that stage. But Rangers are a decent team, but this Celtic team is just so much better in every department as far as I'm concerned.
I think a lot of fans were quite realistic going into this one. No one was kind of predicting. Most of the people were predicting 3s and 4. Well, but like they're going to be tight games as well. Like you said, they are the second best team in the country. They were in the Champions League this season, so it's not a bad team we're playing. But we're ahead of them by quite a bit at the moment. And the exciting thing for me is, as you say, I think for us it's not just about domestic success now, and I think that's the same with Ange. We'll improve. The benefit of having straight qualification for the Champions League makes such a difference.
We'll only be better in these fixtures from that experience of the Champions League, and I really hope they don't get that next season as well. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it, but playing top level games in the Champions League are only going to improve us more to dealing with difficult bits in these kind of games. Not that we need it. I mean, we're brilliant, but
as like you said, it's you've got the kind of the teams that you'll play in the SPFL, obviously, and then you've got a increased level when you play them, and then obviously there's another bigger increase. So you just want to have more of that experience, and having that a direct qualification just means we can strengthen accordingly rather than have to wait for qualifiers.
When you mention that, it's me just kind of remembered
that we've got that.
That's what we've effectively sealed today.
It's such a game changer having that qualification, because
Who do you want in the groups next year?
But that's the thing, we've got all that to look forward to again this summer, and it's just so exciting. It's so much better not having to have those qualifiers, which they will. We'll have to, worry about maybe 2 qualifiers again.
We're off to Japan, I think.
So we've got a retour in Japan. So no, it's happy days, and honestly, I can't wait for the semi-final now as well, because I just think, again, we'll play better than that. We'll play better than we did today, and I just don't know how much more they've got to offer than what they did.
Yeah. Few things before we go. First of all, need to sort that away allocation thing and just get some sort of European allocations next season. We know whose fault it is, but Yeah, you just miss some sort of away support in these games. Seeing Celtic fans at Ibrox is brilliant. Seeing their lot at our bit adds to the atmosphere. So please just sort it going forward.
But the atmosphere was still.
Yeah, I mean
great.
that's not me having a go at anything. I just think the derby needs that. That's only my opinion. People will disagree. Secondly, has anyone seen Ryan Kent? He was last seen floating around a Canadian's pocket about 12:30. Thirdly,
Raskin, was he not meant to be the saviour as well?
The saviour, Ismail Asoro.
There was nobody in their team today that I thought was particularly dangerous, that had a particularly good game.
Arisic was world class, I thought. Free kick.
And look, we're honest enough to analyse that game and know that we weren't at our best.
Yeah.
But we won again, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah. They had the Masters on in the telly here just when I came in, and I noticed Brooks Koepka was leading -12. So I thought that was kind of fitting. Right, we're going to sign off, everyone. Have a wonderful Saturday. Have a wonderful Easter. I'm going to do a wee video tomorrow, so if you've got any comments, thoughts on the game, etc., I'll fire through them very quickly tomorrow. Probably be a bit hungover as well, but that's what we'll deal with. And then we'll have Scott McDonald on the channel next week as well, looking back on the game. So yes, unless you've got anything else to say, mate, we'll round off.
No, all good from me.
Any big message? Haha.
I'm fasting just now, so I just can't wait for my dinner later on. Properly and celebrate all that. Another great victory. And perfect way to start the weekend, isn't it?
Brilliant. Right, thanks everyone. Take care of yourself. We'll speak to you very soon.